Have you ever imagined how we live in an old, dense area of the city, where there's the common problem about how the quality living space there, or how about the quality living for people? So, before we go further, let me introduce myself first. Good morning to all the judges, all the AYDA committees, and all the participants. My name is Salsabila Novitasari from Indonesia, and I would like to share my idea about this through my project called Restack, means regeneration through stacking. Bandung is a city with its beautiful attraction and beautiful history. No wonder that this city has a very diverse uniqueness in every areas. As I grew up in the city, I noticed that there are changes around the city, not only about the beauty, but also about the density, especially in the old area of the city, as well as the unplanned arrangement of the buildings, the physical condition of the buildings, making these areas starting to lose their identity. Cibadak is one of the most dense area in Bandung, and I noticed that since I was a kid. I used to accompany my mom to buy some things to sell here, since Cibadak is known as one of the largest wholesale trade areas in Bandung. So when we look at this video, it's very old and scary. Later on, after the COVID-19, there are some shops that are generally closed. Some are still open, and hoping there will be answer to bring this area back. So, this thought about my childhood memory and all the problems triggered me to think, what if we solve this problem with this idea? So here is the map of Bandung city with its density, and Cibadak is categorized as the most dense area. And here is the site that I choose for the regeneration, since it has potential as the first development in this area, and it's approximately 7,500 square meters. The site is typically dense like the others, since the building order is unregulated well. There left some unused open space in every areas, and this makes me think of how the site could be more lively if we regenerate this. So as the site problem, I try to break it down into three main problems. First is about the breathing space that leads to the lacking presence of green areas from the unused open space. Second is about the spatial informality that leads to unregulated development of the site, making red space. And the last one is about inactive areas, where there are certain inactive areas, especially at the back of the site, that leads to security issues. To solve the problems, there are three main strategies that I used. First is reeling, to solve the inactive areas by reconnecting path from the disconnected existing alleyway. Second is restack, to solve the spatial informality problem of the housing units by readjusting the existing building to create a better public realm. And third is re-empowerment, to solve the breathing space by giving a sense of placemaking to the inactive areas. Next is a design process. This is the zoning of the existing site. There are three zones. The blue one as the shops, pink as housing, and orange as landscape. So the idea for the shops is to preserve the street front, so no changes of facades are made. This old shops complex with long history only reconstructed the streetscape by improving the streetscape vibes, enhancing the vitality of urban public space. As there are the closed passageway, the strategy is to open the linkage to the back of the site, making the connection between the front and the back, connecting the alive active complex and injecting new vitality and charm inside. For the existing housing units, I try to rearrange the building and give additional function as the new strategy. Stacking the function, each housing now has a commercial area and greenhouse. So following the design intent of creating an urban life between the old and the new, the overall design gives the colorful, simple thing to create the social feel for daily life. Now, let's jump to the design programs. For the programs, I make two main programs, first for the residents and second for the public or the visitors. So for the residents, each housing unit now has commercial space to lend as the new generation strategy. And they also have parking in inner courts, parking units, and entrance. And here is the site plan. There are a total of 25 housing based on the plot pattern from Google Maps. No sound. Here, the new generation of the housing units, feeling the blend of historic and modern life, injecting the new local cultural identity through social memory, forming a new place of urban life, constructing the social field for daily life. Through the fully open commercial space unfolds a chapter connecting the past and the future along Cibadak area. The smell of cooking, wandering around the streets, responses to the alive and active urban life. Going through the atmosphere of each housing units have, with the connected deck, presents cozy and natural creative ideas to convey a sense of familiarity in life, making the quality life of the residents more vibrant. A preserved courtyard, returning the life of an unused open space, unifying the boundaries of function and special order, at the same time bring the vitality and vigor into the space. The greenhouse that each housing units have, over them to make urban farming for leisure activity. So next we have the visitor or public program. First, they can walk into the street front and they can enjoy the walking experience at the old shop, and maybe they can buy some things at the shops. After that, they can go to the park by enjoying the connected alleyway. Feeling the joy of walking on the street front area, while the charm of the old shops offer the romantic imagination and emotion. While the charm of the old shops immerse you, the pop-up of the reopened alleyway will take you to new places. Through the alleyway, we can feel the charm of the blocks offers people the experience which they desire, as if they're traveling through time and space, feeling the blend of old and new, as well as the intersection of history and present. The fun connection between the street front, the alleyway, and the public pocket creates a light walking atmosphere combined with different architectural outdoor spaces, sets up spots to meet the visitor's basic behavior of standing, sitting, talking, or maybe playing together. The creation of the progressive scenes built the visual perception that movement and stillness coexist in harmony. Sometimes it's lively, and sometimes it's a leisurely strolling lane. These various scenes and vibes endow businesses with different emotional experience. So here's the elevation of the shops, the before and after of the alleyway. So in terms of facade designs of the stacking units, the challenge is to bring out stable local identity while the buildings have cantilevered balconies that draws people attention. So to make it more humble, I add the vertical railings that are generally used by the neighborhood. And adding the colors, the outcome is strong and fresh, creating a new local identity in this place. The design can improve the quality of life of the residents and also help to sustain the economy, especially after the pandemic break. Increasing the social life and improving the environment. And after all, this is where people can live and gather, making a strong community. Welcome to the new generation of Cibadak area, where we can meet the diverse needs for different users. Feel the stacking materials and masses, injecting new vitality and charm to the business through the combination of old and new, as well as the intersection of history and the present. Curling upward and going through the hustle and bustle of streets, the linearly extending streetscape becomes the core of circulation of the entire area, spreading out romantic imagination and emotion, creating a light urban atmosphere and scenes, making the whole space more coherent and natural. After all, Cibadak has its own understanding, communicating, and contriving of what is required to combat their difficulties. This idea can also be replaced to the same area problem around the world. Lastly, I want to bring this up that human and environment are inseparable, shaping a future by converging people, place, and environment will create a better living and a better world. That's all from me. Thank you.